Race setting, the suspension still seems to be very... Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over a Mercedes AMG GLE 63S. First and foremost, so a huge shout out and thank you to the Mercedes-Benz of Farmington for giving me some time with this GLE. Check out their inventory in the description down below. A really cool thing about the Mercedes-Benz of Farmington is they are a one price store, so they're going to make your buying experience from start to finish super easy, super seamless, so definitely check them out. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below as well. Let's get into the video. So under the hood we have a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 that goes through a 9-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 603 horsepower and then 627 pound-feet of torque. And this also does have the EQ charge system. Now let's go over the front end of the GLE. So first off, you guys can see here with the Mercedes logo there at the top, and then I love the body lines. Now the white paint does kind of hide these body lines a little bit, but they still look fantastic. Now coming down below, you can see we've got the daytime running lights and then the headlights, which are super bright. Now the daytime running lights don't do that swooping action in real life. That's just because of the frame rate of the camera. They're fixed. And then you guys can see the, well, accenting here off to the side is what we're going to call. There is actually some venting as well, which is pretty cool. And then we got parking sensors integrated here into the front end. We have our subtle AMG badge here, the gigantic Mercedes logo that doubles as a sensor and has a camera at the bottom. And then notice how the trim here at the bottom is also blacked out. And yeah, definitely has a cool, distinctive look. Tire and wheel setup is pretty crazy. We've got 285mm tires wrapped around 22-inch wheels in the front, and then 325mm tires wrapped around 22-inch wheels in the back. Now, as for the wheels themselves, I love the design on these. So you got the silver ring on the outside that makes the wheels pop out just a little bit more. Got our AMG logo, of course, and then also another one on the brake caliper as well. But notice how the wheels have a matte finish, and so it definitely creates some nice contrast, especially with this vehicle that has the gloss white paint. And notice here with the body painted fender flare, we have our V8 bi-turbo badge there on the side, and you can see the trim here all along the side as well. Notice we do have some chrome trim there at the top of the door handles. We've got the blacked out mirrors, blacked out trim around the window seals, and then you've got the rails at the top. And then also notice the fender flare there on the rear. It's so wide. Again, 325mm tires, so you're gonna have to have a big fender flare to fit those tires underneath. Now here's our key fob. We have our lock function, our unlock function, the opening here for the hatch, AMG logo, and then nothing on the back. But let's press that, and the hatch will automatically pop open. And popping here to the interior, we of course have our beautiful AMG floor mats, and look at these vacuum lines. Man, I always got to mention that when we got nice vacuum lines, because you know it's something you got to appreciate. But lifting this up, you guys can see here, and the spare tire as well. And then notice here with the little plaques there in the back. And then you guys can see here with the seats how you can fold them down and raise them up. And this has adjustable suspension, so you can also raise up the rear end, so that you can basically access the rear a little bit easier, which is great. Cargo cover as well. And other than that, that's pretty much everything from a storage space perspective. So I'm gonna press that, and that'll slow lower the hatch right back down. Now let's finish things up here with the rear. So first off, we got our AMG badge here, and then you can see the distinctive GLE taillights. And then notice the little vent piece right there. Parking sensors here along the rear. And then we have these really aggressive exhaust tips. You guys will love the exhaust note on this. And then you have a receiver hitch in the middle of the diffuser, which is just hysterical. I love it. And of course, we have our GLE 63S badge. You can flex on everyone that you got the 4-liter twin-turbo V8, and there you go. Now here's the door panel on the rear. We've got really nice leather here at the top. Notice the red stitching. We actually have a little bit of wood trim here. You've got your seat adjustments for the second row passengers. They have heated seats as well, and then Burmester sound system. And then notice it continues into red leather, which is really nice. And then here are the seats. So you can see that these are actually the same seats as what you get in the G-Wagon, which is pretty cool. So you've got like the Alcantara here, and then notice here with the leather and then more of those inserts. Looks really good from a aesthetic perspective. We have our AMG logo. And then just sliding across, there's legroom, there's headroom. We have the little net right there. Got some vents here. You've got the climate controls for the rear passengers. Notice that says rest because the car's off. And then you guys can see some charging ports down below. And then we have our over-engineered cup holder armrest situation, which I'm actually a huge fan of. I think it's kind of funny, but it's also awesome at the same time. And aside from that, let's head to the front. Now here's the front door panel. You can see again, really nice leather trim at the top with the red stitching. Heated, cooled seats. You can adjust the passenger side from the driver's side, and the passenger side has a bunch of adjustments, heated, cooled seats as well. But they can't adjust the driver's seat like the driver can adjust their seat. Burmester sound system, again, blind spot monitoring for the mirror. You can see the red leather down below. And then here are the window controls right here. The mirrors do power fold in. And then there's for the hatch in the rear. We have another AMG plaque. And then here's the front seats. You can see with the leather padding here at the top. Says AMG right there. Look at the bolstering here on these seats. Definitely nice. And then you can see down below. And nothing here on the side of the seat. Pedal layout down below there. And then you can see here with the light control, steering wheel is power adjustable. We got these nice paddle shifters. Let's pop in. So here is the steering wheel. We got really nice leather trim here at the top, and at the bottom notice we have our AMG logo. Perfect leather here on the sides, so you can get a slightly better grip, and even the airbag cover has some nice leather trim around it. We got the AMG paddle shifters. We of course have our column shifter for the gear selection. And then we have this that controls the infotainment system, and then this controls the center screen right there. We've got our cruise controls as well, volume, voice command controls, all of that. And then of course our turn signal, windshield wiper stock, and oh, there's the steering wheel. Now here's the center gauge cluster. You guys can see full digital gauge cluster. There's a few different menus you can scroll through. So notice I can scroll through that little menu right there, and then I can scroll through like the gauge cluster menus as well. Like there's just so many different menus to scroll through on this. Very customizable, and if I actually press the home screen button, you can even change how the gauge cluster looks. So I can go to designs and display, and you know, we can go to like Super Sport, for example. And so we can make it look completely different. So yeah, overall, really customizable, really cool. Bunch of different information you can see. If you get this, just play with it. Now here's the infotainment system. So first off, if we pop it into reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. Notice we got the bird's eye view. And then there's a couple different menus you can scroll through here with the camera system to see different viewpoints out of the GLE. So from a camera perspective, it is absolutely covered. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment system, response time is great. And if we actually go over to the comfort tab, we have massaging seats. So you got 600 horsepower and you can get a massage. So while you're flying down the road, you know, you just get taken care of from that perspective, which is great. And then we also have some different drive modes to go between. So we have our individual, comfort, sport, sport plus, and then race. Yes, it says a race mode, believe it or not. And then on the other side, we got our slippery, and then trail, and then sand. So this can do it all. Now, something that's interesting is look at the RPMs with some of the different drive modes. So that sand was higher RPM. Then you guys can see with sport stays the same. Sport plus goes up. Race, does it go up just by 10 RPMs? No, okay, so Sport Plus and Race are the same, but that's interesting that the RPMs go up. Got a bunch of climate vents down here with the wood trim, and look at the leather and stitching on the dash. Really nice, high quality stuff. And notice the stitching goes across the glove box, which is big. And it's nice. It's a normal glove box. But it has leather trim all on the outside. And then you can see coming here to the center, again, we've got our climate controls. And you have this little tab which you can cover up. It's more wood trim. But you got like your wireless phone charger. Notice the ambient lighting also throughout the interior as well. It's also here on the grab handles, which is kind of interesting. But also tons of leather trim. Like this is the nicest grab handle on the planet. You've got this for the infotainment system, so 3 different ways to control the infotainment system. Drive mode, select, and then you got some other shortcut buttons for the infotainment system as well. This is your wrist rest. And this is the fun part right here. So we've got like the manual shift function here, basically to put you in manual mode. And then you got your stability control, and then this for the suspension to raise and lower it. We have this for the shocks to basically make them firmer or softer. And then of course we got the exhaust. So if you want to make it louder or quieter, and you can see you just press the different functions with that. Pretty straightforward system, and there you go. Got the center console, so you can see the storage space in that. And then notice the stitching again kind of connects all across in a line. And then popping up top here, so we've got a panoramic sunroof, and then notice the headliner, really nice. So material used throughout is just solid. And other than that, that's all for the top. Now, if you want the most up-to-date pricing on this GLE, go check out Mercedes-Benz of Farmington's website in the description down below. I know that was very fast, but let's drive it. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off here in the GLE 63. So first off, here's visibility of the hood, and you guys can now see the heads-up display that you also get, which is pretty cool. Both mirrors, remember, they do have blind spot monitoring, and then throughout the rest of the rear, and let's set off. So setting off in the GLE, of course, with the twin-turbo 4-liter V8. This is an engine that everyone loves because it is powerful and it sounds amazing, and I mean, what more could you ask for in life? And I guess with the new EQ charge, it's going to, you know, help this be a little bit more economical, especially when we have gas prices that are pretty expensive in today's world. Now, right now, I am just in the, well, let's go to the comfort mode. Don't worry, we'll do the race mode a little bit later. But what I can tell you is it just shut off there. That was pretty cool. So that's gonna help. Look at that, auto stop start. It's gonna save on fuel. You can turn it off. There's a button right next to the engine stop start button if you don't like that function for some reason. But this is actually really comfortable. So the seat comfort is great, actually. The seats are very supportive, but they're also just, yeah, the bolstering, everything's really nice on them. Suspension so far feels really soft. And I like the feeling of this interior overall. It's definitely very high-end feeling interior. And I feel like, again, I'm in a very nice luxury car. And the V8, you know, you get this nice low rumble, but it's not obnoxious by any means. It's just kind of there. It makes nice sounds overall. Now, you know, steering a little bit, definitely feel the weight. Brakes are very touchy, so that's good, right? You got those big AMG brakes, but you can feel this is a large vehicle. But again, it's so smooth. It's got huge wheels and tires, and so I thought this would ride a little bit rougher than it does. So I'm impressed with everything they've done from that perspective. Now, of course, we gotta pop it into the, let's actually do, yeah, let's do a sport for now. See how that kind of feels. Okay, not a huge change. It does with the transmission and everything, but I'm just trying to feel the suspension mostly. So this right here is supposed to be kind of like your, you know, firmer setting with the suspension. Oh, I guess the amusement park is finally open, so we're gonna start to see people sitting on benches out here. Love the sounds that this makes. Now, I'm just gonna leave it in automatic mode. I'm gonna let it shift for me because it's gonna be able to do a better job than I can, frankly. And for our acceleration, but yeah, even in this race setting, the suspension still seems to be very... Oh, it's quick. The suspension still seems to be very compliant. Those gear shifts, I mean, do you see how quick that is? So we're gonna pop into the manual mode and listen to the sounds. Whoa, that sounds good. It's like just this powerful sound, and it is quick. This is a quick vehicle. Wow. Yeah, those gear shifts are so seamless. So we're gonna pop it back into the automatic mode here. Braking's great. Again, have a person that abruptly stops to make a turn, you're fine. You got AMG brakes. Wow, this is impressive. I love the sounds. So yeah, let's sum things up here with this GLE 63S. So first off, exterior wise, you basically either like, I feel like at this point you either like Mercedes-Benz SUV styling or you don't. I think it's this nice, sleek looking, you know, modern SUV, and I think it's a good looking vehicle on the outside. Interior, I think it goes without saying, this is a very nice upscale interior. Material use is amazing. Fit and finish is amazing as well. And there's nothing I can say negative about this interior. I love the gauge cluster. I love the whole setup. It just feels very techy, but then also very luxury. Like Mercedes has definitely captured a really solid, you know, experience with this interior. And speaking of experience, driving experience, this thing's exciting. It's fast. It sounds great. So this is a great luxury daily driver that you can also have some fun with, frankly. Overall, I think Mercedes did just a really solid job with this. And you know, it seems like we're going towards, you know, smaller displacement turbocharged engines and hybrid systems and more of that. So who knows how long this, you know, 4-liter V8 will last, but you can still get it for the time being. So if you've got the money and you want a nice luxury experience paired to a monstrous engine, then yeah, check this thing out. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this GLE 63. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Mercedes-Benz of Farmington for giving me some time with this vehicle. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I'll see all of you in the next video.